Bum ba da bum 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 bum.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Skywars, and today we're going to be talking about, something we've covered, sort of anyway, before. I've talked a bit about my tendency to injury and my tendency to just get hurt and be stupid and stuff. I have a lot of scars, I've had some broken bones. You get the idea, right? I'm not gonna make it to 11D1. Okay, I'm not gonna make it to 11D1 in any case. The thing is, one thing that injures me quite frequently, I would say, is my bike. And I've talked about my bike before as well, so you should go check that video out. All of these will be linked in the description. But yeah, my bike. I really like my bike. I recently got a car, which you know if you were on the Discord, but I do ride my bike a lot. So when I ride my bike, I tend to crash it sometimes because I'm not very competent. Okay? For example, I like to take turns hard. Sometimes when I'm biking with my friends, I'll take a turn way too hard and then I'll just kind of wipe out, right? One time something like that happened was I was biking with one of my friends. We were looking for my other friend's house. We knew it was in one area, but we didn't know exactly where, so we were just biking around looking for him. Long story short, we didn't find him. We're like, okay, it's time to go back to my house. So I was like, hey, I know a shortcut. I've been in this neighborhood before. So let me lead, okay? I know there's a path coming out of a cul-de-sac that leads onto the highway, which I can get onto the road and go home. And I go down the cul-de-sac and there's no path. And I'm like, oh, there's the next cul-de-sac because there's like 4 cul-de-sacs in a row. And we go to the next cul-de-sac and it's not there. My friend's like, bro, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, no, I know there's a path, okay? And so we go to the 3rd cul-de-sac and there's no path. And my friend is like, no, let's just go the normal way. And I'm like, no, shortcut. And so we go to the 4th cul-de-sac and lo and behold, there is the path. I'm not sure why I missed it so many times, but yeah, I found it eventually. But the thing is, I was very happy at this point because I was so smart that I got it on the first try, right? And as we were turning onto the path, I took the turn really hard and I crashed my bike. And my friend looked at me and he's like, dude, you're so stupid. But I was okay. I just stood right back up. He's like, are you okay, dude? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Leave me alone. But there's other reasons I've crashed my bike. It's not always just because of stupidity. It's because of major stupidity. For example, once I was biking somewhere and I was holding a book because I wanted to read my book at the place I was going to. And I was holding my book in one hand and I was holding the handlebar in the other. And if you've never ridden a bike before, then you wouldn't know. But if you have, you would know that biking one-handed is harder than biking two-handed. And you have less control. And it is harder to do a turn. So when I turned, I went off the sidewalk because I like to bike on the sidewalk. It's safer. I go off the sidewalk and I go into the grass. And I don't crash, I'm fine. But there's kind of a bit of a bump to get back on the sidewalk. So it's a little hard. So when I turn back on the sidewalk, my bike starts wobbling a little bit. I'm kind of getting out of control, but I don't want to drop my book, so I only have one hand. And then by the time I get settled back on the sidewalk, I realize I'm about to go into the street. And I go off the curb. It's not a busy street, by the way. But I go off the curb, and my bike hits the street, and I kind of spin out. And since I only have one hand, I don't have good control. And my bike goes out beneath me, and I crash in the middle of the road. And so I had, kind of sprained my wrists almost. And my knees were scratched to heck, and my hands were scratched to heck, and I had dropped my book, and I had dropped my bike, and I had dropped my sense of dignity, and I was just laying there on the road, and I was like, ah! But I didn't cry, because I'm a man. So yeah. But I got up, and I'm like, I'm going home. But I was in too much pain to ride my bike, so I had to walk home. I know what you're thinking. Frankenbuddy, you're such a trooper. I will tell you another story about how much of a trooper I am, but I won't tell you in this video. Go check out this video where I talk about how I hunted down my bike after it was stolen. It's a pretty epical story. In any case, yeah, I do stupid stuff with my bike sometimes, like greasing my brakes. Apparently that's not something you're supposed to do, because I thought, hey, I'll put some WD-40 on it and it'll keep the brakes from getting rusty and nasty and stuff. And apparently, if you put grease on your brakes, they're too slippy to work, which kind of makes intuitive sense now that I think about it. And guys, I just want to clarify, even though I say I'm stupid a lot, I'm not actually dumb. I just do dumb things sometimes. I think everybody can say that about themselves, unless you're like somebody who isn't normal. I don't know. In any case, if you are like me, you've made some mistakes. And normally stories where you do something dumb are more entertaining to talk about, so that's why I make videos about them. But yeah, I greased my brakes, and apparently grease doesn't come off with just water. So I'm gonna have to try and fix that one of these days. But basically my brakes don't work, and they're really squeaky now. So I'm kind of dumb. In any case, one time I was biking around. I had arrived way too early for a barber's appointment, and I was like, and the barber was like, can you go like run some errands? Because it's not your turn yet. And I was like, oh, sorry. I'll go run some errands. But I didn't run any errands. I just went home, which was kind of a dumb thing to do. But I went home because I wanted my Mountain Dew that I had left at home, because I was thirsty, and I didn't have money. So I went home and grabbed my Mountain Dew, and then I came back, but it wasn't time yet. And so there's a roundabout, and I was like, In any case, I decided that a good thing to do if you see a roundabout is just bike around it nonstop for like 10 minutes. I don't know why I thought that would be a cool idea, but I basically just biked around that roundabout for 10 straight minutes. Probably biked around it like 100 times at least. And I was hoping to like get some crazy reactions out of people. There were some people looking at me like, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? Like, I need to use a roundabout, you know?" But yeah, I just biked around a roundabout for 10 minutes, and I don't, you know, uh, I don't know. It was dumb, but it was fun, biking around a roundabout. It's pretty cool. One time though, I was biking around a parking lot with my buddies in the spring. It was just this last spring. And because I am a thrill seeker and I seek danger and excitement, I decided that it would be a good idea for me to bike through a lasting snowdrift. There's a big snowdrift in the parking lot, and because it's spring, and where I live, snow kind of lasts into the spring a little bit. So there's a snowdrift. It's not super big or anything, but it's a snowdrift. And I thought, hey, what if I biked through it? And so I sped up on my bike and I biked straight through the snowdrift. It's not a busy parking lot or anything. There was no cars there. But I biked straight through the snowdrift in like a shallower part of it. And snow goes everywhere and my bike's wet and splatters everywhere, and I go through nice and smooth. It wasn't too hard, and I was like, "Ha, that was fun. I'm going to go through the deep part." And so I decided to go back around and go through the deep part. And so I get up to real good speed, and then I start going through the snowdrift, and for whatever reason, the snow being 2 inches deeper made a huge difference. I was not expecting it to make such a giant difference, but it did, because I crashed my bike. My bike just got stuck in the snow, and I just kind of went, "Yay!" And yeah, I scraped myself up pretty bad, got some wrist damage, but I didn't cry because I'm a man, and my friends were there, okay? I'm a man. Now, the exact same friend who was there for the first story and this one, the snowdrift one and the cul-de-sac one, is the same guy. He's very aware of my incompetence when it comes to biking, and I'm sure he'd love to rub it in for me. But you get the idea. If he's watching this, then yeah, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious about my biking skills. Just can you please comment down below? Frankenbuddy, you're super good at biking. Can you just do that for me? It just make me feel so good. Please. Thank you. Please. 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 Please do it. Please do it. Or Perry the Platypus gets it. You don't want Perry the Platypus to get it, do you? Okay, anyway, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bum ba da bum 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 bum.